I've been dating my fiancée for 4 years and have been engaged for 7 months. We are trying to plan out a wedding for roughly fall next year. Her childhood was terrible and abusive, to put it mildly. Her parents were raging narcissists and she was the scapegoat for her 2 brothers. She was abused and thrown out the moment she turned 18. She was, however, a great student and hard worker, so with some scholarships and a part-time job, she has a great career and is pretty independent. The problem is that she still had contact with her family. None of them have changed. Well, actually something has changed. They have become more financially dependent on her. They enjoy slowly creeping back into her life and emotionally blackmailing her for support or whatever she can do. They're not pleasant about it either. They're rude, smug, and generally enjoy being a nuisance. And my fiancée can't say no. No matter the horrible things they say or how they outright try and intimidate her openly. I've always known her family history and have always supported her through the issues with them, but in the last year or so they've become far more brazen and asinine. They come over to our house more often, they make messes all around the place. Her mother acts like she's the fucking stepmother from Cinderella. Her dad drinks all my fucking beer and empties out half the fridge. Her brothers stop by occasionally to act as mouthpieces for their parents. They practically trash the place and leave us to clean the mess. And where is my fiancée in all this? Quietly standing in the corner, practically shaking. I'm no fool here, there is legitimate trauma. There's her need to feel loved by them and her hoping they will appreciate her. Before one of you noble commenters states the obvious, she's been in therapy for this for years. I've tried to establish boundaries. For nearly 2 years I've been trying to push these ass clowns away. But this is her house she purchased, and no matter of contributions, financial or otherwise, will she let me have a say on who comes into her house. She's been beaten down mentally and emotionally by them for so long. She has told me recently that she wants to earn their approval. How they were right about her. How she needs to be better for them. I've had too many emotional conversations with tears and begging to count, hoping she will take the steps to get better. But she's an adult. I can't force her to do anything. I love her, but I can't help but feel so resentful of what she's doing. It's agonizing watching someone you love, someone who you know deserves so much better, openly destroy themselves for people like her family. It's been painful watching her cry herself to sleep one too many night because of them. I've tried too many times to help her get out of their clutches. But I have to think of the future. What happens when we have kids? What happens when she is postpartum and invites them over? What happens if there is a medical emergency for either of us? What if our finances get tight and they still demand money? This is the in-law family from hell and I won't be able to avoid them. Tomorrow I'm going to tell her how I want to delay the wedding until firm boundaries are established. If she resents, I walk. I can't do it anymore. I refuse to watch a slow death like this any further. Update 1. The night after I made the first post I had decided that I was going to have a heart-to-heart with my fiancée about her family. However, she came back from work the next day early and I already was off that day, so I initiated the talk a little sooner than I planned. Essentially, I told her how this arrangement was not sustainable. I did not feel comfortable marrying her due to how much involvement in her life her family has, and I certainly did not feel comfortable bringing a child into this RLD with them. I didn't want to tell her cold turkey no contact with them, but strict limitations to start with on them coming over, and what they can do around the house. I also requested couples therapy before marriage. She wasn't happy. She was just staring angrily at me while I spoke, then started yelling at me when I finished. She told me I don't understand their dynamic at it worked for her. I told her that they're abusive users who will bleed her dry and I have never seen them show any decency to her. She told me she just had to work harder for them to appreciate her. I basically yelled at her that a parent's child shouldn't have to beg and plead and work for them to be loved. I finally told her that she sets limits with them or I walk. She was livid, and since I was living in her house I was kicked out. So the past few days I have been staying in a hotel and have had my stuff taken out and put into storage. And frankly, it's been great. I am going to stay with family for a few weeks around mid-July, and after that I am going to go house searching for myself. I have spent the last couple days relaxing, catching up on movies and video games I haven't had time for, and could go back from work to a quiet room without her family tearing the place apart. Yesterday, however, things came to a head. We have basically been no contact since she booted me out, but I know every Saturday her family loves to spend the afternoon over and she uses me as a shield from their abuse. However, in a very petty move I simply kept my phone muted all day and played Disco Elysian. I knew she would call back for help with her family, and at this point pure resentment was kicking in for her and I wanted nothing to do with her issues. By the end of the night she had sent me over a dozen texts and finally 2 frantic voicemails begging me to come home. I decided to come over to check up on her. Long story short, she was sobbing in the living room, and when I came to talk to her she was practically hushing my back, hugging me and sobbing. I gave her time to cool off and asked what happened. Long story short, her parents and brother came by to gift money from her and say horrible shit to her. She wanted to have me come over to help, but I was ignoring her, and when she tried to have one of her friends help out and everyone basically said fuck that, it all started clicking in for her. She kicked her family out, but not before they said some utterly vile shit to her I won't repeat. She kept apologizing to me and told me over and over to come home. I told her plainly that I had started to build up heavy resentment towards her for some time, and while I loved her and understand it was trauma and not her being outright abusive, there was major issues that would need to be addressed if we were to move forward. 1. She sells the house and moves. We make roughly the same amount of money and we will buy a house together. I am a grown-ass man and I will not live in a house I have no equal agency over. 2. Her family will never step a foot in it. They will never come over. They will be treated by me in a very threatening manner if they try and come in. 3. She gets a new therapist and we start premarital counseling. 4. She never makes me interact with her family. 5. We will go LC with her family right now, but make no mistake, we are working towards full NC on her end. I told her I love her. We have been together for a while now and have beautiful memories together, and I know she is suffering from abuse, but these are non-negotiable, and if she has a problem with any of them then we have to go out separate ways. She told me she's realized for a while now that her family is toxic and unhealthy. She wants to make changes. She has accepted, but some of these will take a while to see through. For now I'm going to stay in the hotel until I head back to stay with my family. She is welcome to come over, but I have made it clear her house is not somewhere I want to go. Her and I are both off tomorrow, so we will spend the day here and maybe go out. This is obviously not over yet, but I might not post anything else until mid-August or so. Update 2. Despite all intentions of not updating until much later with the hopes of an improved relationship with my fiancée and her establishing boundaries with her toxic family, we are now broken up. Essentially what happened was, after last weekend where I left her for the time to deal with them herself, she seemed to finally grasp the situation and was open to changes, including boundaries and a possible move. We spent Monday and Tuesday hanging out in my hotel that I was staying in until I went back to my family for a couple weeks. The other night she was being very vague with texting when she originally was supposed to come over. She came much later than expected and I knew something was up. She basically unloaded on me how I was abusive, controlling, overly demanding, and unsupportive. It took me 5 fucking seconds to figure out she was repeating verbatim some sort of rehearsed speech from her parents. And to be honest, I was so agitated at this point, despite making a huge gamble on her, I decided to be a prick about it. I asked her if her family told her to say this. She said they suggested it to her, but she came up with it herself. Suure. I asked her to explain in detail what I did. She said I was living like a parasite off her. I reminded her that I'm paying 50-50 for her fucking mortgage, 50-50 for utilities and groceries as well. I have my own car I pay for. A job that makes just about as much as hers, unlike her fucking leech parents who demand payments on the weekly and raid the kitchen on the weekends. I told her to try again with something better. She looked flustered and said I was trying to isolate her. I kinda smirked like a jackass and told her that I have always supported her many friendships that she has destroyed on her own because no one wants to deal with her family or be used as a shield like me. I was practically demanding to know at this point why she is so hellbent on destroying her life for these people. She just kinda shouted that I don't understand her family and she's just trying to earn their love back, and was boshly ranting at that point. It's just so staggering to see up close. I have ventured into a few subreddits to get perspectives, and if you have any familiarity with them you'll see how people who are victims of abuse by their own family can be so utterly broken by it that it'll wreck their brain to where they truly believe they are the problem and they deserve the abuse. Well, that's how she was. She was utterly broken and didn't want help. She didn't want to get better, she just wanted to get worse. It hit me like a truck, honestly, the realization. I really did feel like a fool for trying, even if it was what I was supposed to do in the first place. She was practically berserk at this point and I was just mentally exhausted and needed her to leave before someone called the police. She finally left, but I had a few concerned neighbors check on me. Some of her friends are aware as they have messaged me checking on the situation. I told them the truth and that I just needed to be alone to think what to do next right now. They have revealed that she has given them similar rants after they expressed concern for her. One had even heard that she may be possibly at risk of losing her job. She is definitely having some sort of mental break. From my understanding, she is now completely isolated. She is actually sprinting into a horrible lonely life right now. There's nothing I can do for her at this point, and as selfish as it sounds, I'm just glad it's going to be behind me. Now on to second story. Husband relentlessly pressures me to get breast implants, leading to toxic arguments and making me question if divorce is the only way out. I 27F have been married to my husband 34M for over a year. We've been together for 6 years. He's a gym freak I don't have a problem with, except for when he sometimes tries to impose his routine on me, pressure me into adopting his dietary habits. I exercise too. I'm 5 feet 6 inches / 130 pounds, but I enjoy my food and nothing will change that. That's not what I'm posting about though. Lately I can't wear a dress without him telling me I look good, but that I would have looked better if I had that breast augmentation surgery. He never complained about my breasts for 6 years until the past 4 to 5 months. I've told him before that I'm not against it but not planning to get one. It took me years to regain my confidence because my mother used to make hurtful remarks about my chest like if it's something I didn't achieve. A few days ago we were having sex and he didn't hesitate to remind me again that I would look 10 times better with the implants, which turned me off instantly. I don't remember what I exactly said, but I said something along the lines of I know how it feels. Never mind, you're the perfect size. The big ones hurt anyway. He got mad and called me immature and all. Mind you, he's been pressuring me to have the surgery for 4 months now and I never snapped at him. Edit, I'm an A-cup. Yesterday we were getting ready to go to his friend's wedding but I ended up staying home. He brought up the surgery again and I snapped at him. I reminded him that we dated for 5 years before we got married. He had plenty of time to realize that I'm not good enough for him and break up with me to find a woman who has what he's looking for. I do have eyes. He's right, I'm flat-chested but I have a nice body overall. He said he loves me and wants to be with me but feels he could be more attracted to me with bigger breasts. I ended up telling him to go alone. I can't shake off the feeling that our recent arguments are taking us down a toxic path. It's not the kind of relationship I want for us. Is this worth considering divorce over? Other than this, we do get along very well but I feel like he's taking me back to the days when I would stand in front of the mirror for minutes thinking I would never find a man who would like me if I myself don't like what I'm seeing. Edit, for the weirdos asking / going to for pics to see if they're a handful or not. I'm asking if his behavior is acceptable or not. Not if I'm really flat-chested. I am. I don't need to send any pics for you to judge. Update 1. I had no intention of mentioning divorce not until I get some answers that could help with my decision. I was hoping we would end up agreeing on counseling or something. I just wanted an honest conversation to know if there was a way to fill that void for him without ever getting the surgery. I sat him down last night and just like usual he tried to change the subject. I made it clear to him that it's either we talk about it now or he never ever brings breast surgery up again. Well, that did it for him. I asked him why he suddenly after 6 years together want me to get one. He wouldn't give me a straight answer. I told him if I'm to consider having one he needs to be honest with me about what changed in the past few months. He grabbed his phone and showed me some women's pictures on his phone, and let me tell you they weren't Instagram models. They were 100% of models. He showed me more than 5 pictures with no shame or the slightest consideration of my feelings. With each pic he said things like, see, you would look 10 times hotter, she's not even as gorgeous as you are, but I asked him if I decide to never get the surgery would he ever drop the idea? Like, can we move past it? He said it's something he can't stop thinking about because he really feels like he would be more attracted to me and that I myself would feel more confident with a boob job. I do have eyes and just like I know how small my chest is I know that I have a nice body figure. People see, people compliment so they can't all be liars. I asked what he ever liked about me in general because from the pictures he how'd me I didn't see any woman that resemble me even a bit. He said that I'm gorgeous and have a killer smile and he likes my curvy hips. I asked if there's anything else he likes about me in general. I was hoping he would mention something other than my body or anything, and all he said was your lips. I told him since I'm considering breast augmentation surgery, is there anything else he thinks I could fix so he feels more attracted to me while we're at it? I hope that he would at least say other than my boobs he loves everything about me. He said you're good. From the grammatical errors you could tell I'm not a native English speaker. I'm Brazilian. I told him I will think about it and said good night because I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of seeing my tears. I don't know if I'm just naturally stupid and never paid attention to the red flags or he just decided to show me his true colors now that we're married. By the way, since some asked. Yes, he does know about my history with my mother. Every woman in my family has a C cup and up. Including my younger sister. I'm the only one with A cup. He initiated sex later and I told him there's a lot on my mind right now. He didn't even argue and after like 5 minutes said I will pay for it. Don't you worry about that. When we met he was around 230 pounds, he's 5 feet 8 inches, and never went to the gym before. He's 190 pounds now. I'm mentioning this because some said I hooked up with him for his looks/physique. Physique wasn't on the table back then. But it never / would matter to me as long as the person in front of me cares about me for who I am. I'm myself not perfect. Anyway, he was so insecure about his looks and I never ever said a thing about it. I used / still voice how I love this and that about him. I boosted his ego just for him to decide that he would be more attracted to me if I get a boob job after 6 years together. And for those saying I'm lazy for not going to the gym with him and that he wants what's best for me, I said I do exercise. Yes, I'm an A cup and I know it's not for everyone and I respect that. But I'm fucking gorgeous. My mother / him or anyone else won't change that. I'm a babe, deal with it. He himself used to mention how I get looks all the time when we're out. I felt hurt and cried because it hurts to not feel desired by the person you love the most and want to be desired by. Other than that, I'm perfectly happy with my body. And if I ever decide to get the boob job, I will get it for me, not for someone who finishes in 2 minutes and can't even hit the spot. I need time to make a plan before I start the process. When everything is ready and I have a place lined up, I will serve him the papers. By the way, I will initiate sex tonight and every night until the day I serve him. Edit. I get it now, it's a bad idea, but I will go with it for tonight at least. I bought a dildo today thrice his size and I'm using it right after he finishes. If he goes low, I'm going lower until I have an exit plan ready. Thank you to each and everyone who took the time to read my post and share their support / advice. Your words have really made a difference for me. Thanks to the men who offered their perspective / advice. Your honesty has been eye-opening. Edit. I never knew Reddit wasn't for such problems and that I wasn't supposed to post on this sub. I tried another sub and they asked for an account starting with Throra. I can't talk about this with family and friends, especially not my mother. It's just embarrassing. The best option for me was people on the internet. Update 2. Hi. First of all, For those who have been asking for an update and were excited to know how the toy plan went. I know this is disappointing, but I couldn't go through with it. I couldn't let him touch me after everything he said, and using it in front of him also would have been a treat for him. I was just mad. Besides, I didn't want to risk getting pregnant because I know my luck. Who would want to go through mourning, sickness and labor for 2 minutes? Anyway, I left the toy on my nightstand and he saw it the next morning and asked me about it. I told him that since we decided to be open about our sexual needs and he advised me not to take them personally. I thought he wouldn't mind me trying to get the job done after all these years. He said that was immature of me and that I was just trying to hurt his feelings. I told him that's exactly what he did and left for work because why bother now? Now for the update. I started the process of divorce a few days after the last update. He will be served in a week or 2. I left him 3 days ago and took my belongings while he was at work and called to let him know. He's been calling and texting non-stop since. His younger sister called the same day. His older brother called twice last night and texted me asking what happened, saying that my ex-husband is going crazy trying to reach me and that I should at least answer his calls and communicate like adults. I called my ex-husband to let him know that if he sends me another member of his family to try and get me to talk to him, I will just send them a pic of my chest alongside a pic of one of those of models he showed me and let them know that I can't talk to him until I go from this to this. Until then, I don't want to hear from more about him, and that until then will probably take forever. He got the message and apologized. Said he will give me some time to cool down. That's all. I found myself a really nice place to stay in temporarily until the divorce is finalized. I know I seem like I'm not taking this seriously, but it's the only way for me to not break down. I do feel sad. Not sad that I'm getting divorced, but sad that I'm losing someone I thought would never make me go through something like this and leave me no choice but to leave him. I'm still in love with the man I met 6 years ago. Not this man he turned into. But not gonna lie. I love myself more now. I have to choose myself and take care of me no matter what people around me think. My sisters know that I'm getting divorced. My mother will probably know through them. Thank you to everyone who commented on my previous posts. Your support and advice have meant a lot to me. For those who see themselves in my ex and believe that he could treat me like that and I should just stay with him for the sake of saving my marriage, please spare your time and see a therapist instead. Edit. Some of you told me to go through his phone/laptop to see if he's cheating. I couldn't. Not knowing the answer to something that will probably fuck with my self-esteem is better. I just want to get out of this with as little damage to my mental health as possible. Plus, I want to mention again that I'm not a native English speaker, so please don't mind the grammatical errors. I'm still in love with the man I met 6 years ago. Not this man he turned into. Oop, if I could unlove him right away.